Work within your circle of control. This is something I talk to clients about. This is something I learned in like high school, a personal development course that stuck with me and like impacted me massively. Actually, it was like the start of my life of personal development. But it's a concept by Stephen Covey from the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And it's just the idea that we have a circle of control. We have an area, a realm of our lives that we are in control of. And then outside of that circle, there are things we can influence through our circle of control. And then outside of our influence is circle of no control, things we can't control. And what a lot of us do is really fixate on the circle of no control. So let's talk about that. The circle of no control. What we can't control are things like the weather, traffic, what other people are doing and saying, the past, very important. We can't control the past. It's happened. Okay, so a lot of the times we're really hyper fixated on that. To what end, right? So things like that are out of our control. And then in our influence, we have, kind of like our reputation or our dynamics at work and things that are kind of maybe relational. And we have a little bit of influence over that, but we can't directly control that. I can't just directly control how someone else responds to me or what other people think of me. That's not going to be something I can control, but I have influence over that through how I show up, right? So what's important is the circle of control. And that is your thoughts, your feelings, your attitude, your mood, your focus, your attention. And I think it's so important to recognize not only is that your circle of control, not only is that within your control, only you can control that. Only you. There's no one that can pop inside of you and say, I'm going to control your thoughts. I'm going to control how you feel. And a lot of people who haven't practiced this or really considered this might instinctively say, well, they did that and that makes me feel this way. But we have to recognize that there is a pathway from the action to how you feel about it, and it's through you. It's through the meaning that you're making out of it, right? So yes, certain things will probably cause similar reactions to a lot of people, right? If someone calls you mean names, generally you might feel not great about it, but it doesn't have to put you in a bad mood. It doesn't have to make you cry. It doesn't have to make you question your self-worth. Like none of those things. That is something that stems from who you are being in the circle of your control, right? So when we focus on the circle of our control, which I don't mean to sound like you have to rigidly control yourself, but just be aware that this is you. You get to decide how you think, how you feel, how you respond, the meaning you make, what you're going to focus on. So when you start focusing on the circle of control, then you have much more positive influence. And then the circle of no control doesn't really matter, as it shouldn't, because you can't control it, right? So what's the point of focusing on things that are out of your control? In my opinion and experience, you are wasting your life force, wasting your energy, wasting the most valuable resource, which is your focus, your attention, your time, right? Like I think your attention and your time is like the key resource of life, right? Or two resources, I suppose. If you're not aligning those to what you want and feeling how you want to feel and telling a story that moves you in the direction you want to go and allows you to enjoy the experience you're having now, then what's the point of thinking those thoughts, right? What are the thoughts worth if they are outside of your control and they aren't helping you get at least closer to where you want to go, if not embodying that right now? And we have to ask ourselves that because it becomes habituated. It becomes natural. It becomes normal that we're just ruminating over the past, obsessing over the future things that we actually have no control over. We're questioning, what should we do? How should I do that to get a certain response from someone? But none of it is within your control. So I always take it back to, and I think this is a really powerful perspective, for me at least, who do I want to be? Who do I want to be right now? What feels good for me to do and think and focus on right now? What aligns with who I want to be? Because only I control that, and that is within my control. unlike everything else I may worry about, right? So take it back to your circle of control. Just remember that. Let that concept really sit with you and consider it. Notice what you're thinking throughout the day and say, is this within my circle of control or not? Because if it's not, I'm wasting time, I'm wasting focus, I'm wasting attention and energy. It doesn't have any value to anything to think about it. And I did a video a little while ago on how non-anxious people think, and this was one factor, and then there was another. So if you're curious to learn a little bit more about that, you can check it out. I'll link it above. But otherwise, I am wishing you all the very best. If you want to work one-on-one with me, you can book a free consultation just to chat and like get a vibe for what I do, how my program works, if it's a good fit for kind of what you want to work on and the approach you want to take, and we could take it from there. And yes, I'm wishing you all the very best. Take care.